because I think it would be fun. And it sounds like fans need it.
Amazing. I think that's such a great idea.
Does anyone have just cause why these two should not be married? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Looking ahead to next season, and fingers crossed if we do get Iris out of that mirror world.
Yeah.
You and I have chatted about this many times before. What are the chances on that WestAllen vow renewal? Since we all agreed their wedding was a little bit of a different thing.
Yes.
Then I pronounce you both.
Wait, just 1 second.
I don't know. That's actually not something we've discussed, but I could see it making sense and us needing it, especially now after finishing this whole Mirrorverse storyline and us being so separated. And yeah, that would be probably a cool thing to see actually once the storyline's all resolved.
All right, Grant. I'm going to be chatting with Candice next. Do you have a question for her?
Yeah, well, considering
Look at his beard.
our wedding was spoiled on a crossover of Supergirl.
True.
And then we had let's say a shotgun wedding on an episode of Legends of Tomorrow.
So terrible.
Would she be interested in renewing our vows on Flash? Not our vows, Barry and Iris's vows, obviously. Because I think it'd be fun. It sounds like fans need it.
That's a great point, which is something I will say, something I would love to see before we end the show, whenever that is. I think a lot of fans were disappointed with how Barry and Iris ended up getting married. And I think that's a fair thing to be kind of peeved about. And so yes, Grant, I agree. I think we should revisit that at some point. I think we should give the fans what they want. I think we all were a little bit like, how did we get married on another show? When you buy the DVDs of The Flash in the future, you're never going to see Barry and Iris getting married for real. So I think it's only right that before we wrap up the show, Barry and Iris get married on their own show. So for posterity, Flash fans have that in their DVD collection. Yes, let's do it.
Stick with me. I'm thinking that could be next year's crossover where there's nothing wrong. It's just everyone having fun at the reception.
That's a good idea as long as we keep it on The Flash. That it needs to happen on The Flash. Because did we get married
on The Flash?
Supergirl
we cannot have
and
you guys
on
get
Legends.
married on Supergirl.
Yeah. I'm game if it happens on The Flash.
Amazing. I think that's such a great idea.
You and Candice have been starring opposite each other since the pilot.
Yep.
We've seen their love story grow. What has it been like for you guys to act this season where it's not the Iris that we've known and loved this whole time? It's slightly different. Did that change the dynamic between you guys at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of that closeness has been missing this year. They haven't been as affectionate towards each other. And we could attribute that to a lot of the stress that was there for the team and for Barry. And but then you see when we finally find out it hasn't been, Iris this whole time, it makes even more sense. But it's just been a completely different dynamic. I mean, mostly it's that we've seen a lot less of each other on set, which has been really weird.
Very weird, because the Iris I've been playing for so long is so compassionate, so she cares so much for other people. She will do whatever it takes to take care of other people, to save the city, to save other people. And so to play this very selfish, manipulative, maniacal version of Iris was different. And to play that opposite Barry, who was so also loving and compassionate and empathetic to other people. It was just weird. The scene that we had in the loft where she eventually, tells him to leave and that he only makes decisions for himself. It was just a very thing for me, Candice, to play, because I hadn't played that very often with Grant. And I remember having a very difficult time getting through that scene and really making it kind of feel real, because we just don't do that often.
And then we had that scene in 617 where we're like, one of the most emotional scenes we've both had all season, and it's to a mirror. We were both like not there on the same, we shot those different days, so we weren't even there at the same time when we shot that. So it was really weird, but I watched that episode actually, and I thought it turned out great.
It was hard not having him there, for sure. It made it doubly difficult for me this whole season, working with mirrors, shooting into a mirror where you're looking at yourself and you're also seeing like all of the crew behind you in some way. And just having to shoot that scene with Barry looking at myself and not him, completely distracting. Like one of the hardest scenes I've ever shot on our show. We shot it so many times. We did so many takes. It was really difficult and really distracting, but I I was pleased to hear that people really resonated with that scene and felt emotional about that scene. So I'm just happy that it came through and we got something that worked.
It looked gorgeous and it was so emotional, and fingers crossed, if we get Iris out of that mirror world, we will be getting a lot more happy moments between them next year.
Yeah, I think we all are ready for that.
Yeah, no, it's been a different season. I know people are missing that dynamic, and we'll get it back, I'm sure.